Ric Flair lost a lot of flair. Oh. I mean, his woo ain't what it used to be.
But it's take a lot of air in. You get a lot of air
Takes
out.
a little more for him to get to where he wanted to get to. I didn't know he was such a big Rams and Todd Gurley fan.
He's a big football fan. Big, huge fan. SEC fan. You see him on the telecast and everything on Saturdays watching some adult tackle football.
Good stuff. Time for some stories to start your morning. Tyreek Hill had an excellent game last night. 10 catches, 215 yards, 2 touchdowns. See, how impressive was Hill in this one?
I'm so impressed, but he had a lot of tough throws that for a guy with his speed, typically don't have the hands that he has, and his route running's improved so much. Andy Reid talks about him, raves about him being a football junkie. He's all about football, and you could see he's in the backfield, he's in the slot, and his ability to be able to retain that football allows them to be effective. He definitely is a #1 receiver. You can see the traits in him. A go-to guy, defeat the double team, always a deep threat. So he's one of the most exciting players in the NFL.
And late in the game, the catch he made on the sideline, jumping where Sam Shields disrupts the ball, he secures it and taps 3 feet down to go along with. He's made these running backwards touchdown catches throughout the year where he's falling backwards. He's been spectacular.
On the other side of the ball, Aaron Donald might have had the game of the season. 2 sacks, forcing 2 fumbles, one which led to a score for the Rams. Nick, how dominant was Aaron Donald last night?
He's playing the D-tackle position the best anyone's played it since Warren Sapp. I mean, that is the level he's playing at. I was talking to Chris earlier before the show about Johnny Randall, one of his teammates, who was the standard of his generation at D-tackle. I think he passed that off to Sapp, who we've waited a bit, but now it's Aaron Donald. He has been an absolute monster. 14.5 sacks this year for Aaron Donald.
In between Johnny Randall, Hall of Famer, Warren Sapp. Let's not forget about J.J. Watt. J.J. Watt, when he won that MVP, he moved up and down the line. But at defensive tackle, man, it's very, very rare that we've seen guys be able to take over the game. Shortest path to the quarterback is from that D-tackle spot. It's a luxury to be able to have one as special as Aaron Donald is.
All right, moving on to LeBron James now, riding high off his tremendous win over Miami Sunday, where he dropped 51 points en route to a Laker win. So after beating his former team in Miami, he now heads to Cleveland to try to beat his other former team on Wednesday. In an article that came out yesterday, LeBron is quoted as saying he knew as soon as the Cavs traded Kyrie in the summer of 2017, that was the beginning of the end for everything. See, what was your reaction when you read what LeBron said?
I mean, not surprised. I mean, it had gotten out that LeBron, from the beginning, when Kyrie had requested the trade privately, that LeBron was like, don't trade him. Like, don't listen to him. Don't fall to his demand. So I wasn't surprised by that. There were a few other things along the way as far as them not getting other players and not being able to acquire other players that might have been able to salvage LeBron staying there. But ultimately, it was in the cards for him to leave. Not just because of basketball, but because of who owns the basketball team. And Dan Gilbert. Him and LeBron, not unless they added another superstar to replace Kyrie, would LeBron stay there. It didn't fit in his business model as far as what he wanted moving forward. So I'm not surprised, not shocked at all that LeBron, who owned 2 houses in Los Angeles, decided that he was going to go to the Lakers.
And this is all about Dan Gilbert. And this is this article that the Kyrie stuff, I don't think was breaking news to a lot of people. But the nugget in there that I thought was great reporting was that as Kyrie was about to be traded, that Ty Lue drove to see LeBron, who was doing an autograph signing in Santa Monica, actually, got LeBron on the phone with the new GM, Kobe Altman. LeBron expressed, do not trade him. We can fix this. He's got 2 years left on his deal. And according to 4 people that were privy to the conversation, Kobe told him, all right, we won't trade him. And within 15 minutes, Kyrie was traded. And that's when LeBron says on the record, that's how I knew that Kobe was not going to be David Griffin, who was actually in charge, the previous GM, that this was going to be Dan Gilbert's operation. And it was that moment I said all last year that barring a Cavs championship, there was no way they could retain him. LeBron, it should not be overstated, the level of betrayal I think he felt when he comes back to Cleveland, signs a 1-year deal, signs another 1-year deal, they win a championship, he signs a 2-year deal, and so the first offseason that LeBron does not have the leverage or the power, the owner, Dan Gilbert, who he never fully trusted, doesn't retain the GM and trades away the second-best player on the team. The 1 year LeBron couldn't exert his influence, Dan Gilbert said, I'm going to remake the team in my image. And the team is remade in his image now, being the worst team in basketball. Like, he got exactly what he wanted. I just don't know why he wanted it.
Well, quick question to that. They are the worst team. What, 2-13? Or is the Cavs record now? Does that make what LeBron did last year with this Cavs team that much more impressive, CC?
I mean, they were bad last year. I mean, I was critical of them the whole year, so I'm not, I knew they weren't all right. I knew the ownership wasn't going to be all right. So it was very impressive what he did last year. But ultimately, still about winning championships. They didn't have enough firepower.
Yeah.
Getting that team to the finals was an accomplishment for him. But